welcome you guys. You're joining us at the Cookout, and that's what we call our little chats because that's a vibe we're going for. Very relaxed, like we're all drinking beers.
Got it.
Yeah. So, what's that?
I'll try to stay calm.
Don't get too excited. But we do always ask too, like, what would you bring? What are you bringing to a cookout? Do you guys cook?
I'd love to cook. Actually, both of us are pretty good cooks, I would say. There's something like, obviously the supermarket shopping piece of it is kind of annoying. But like once you get over that hump, it's fun. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen all these TikTok, dishes and things that are all like all over the internet, but like, how could you possibly watch one of those videos and not feel inspired to go make that? You know what I mean?
I'm like specifically getting targeted by like different different like recipes, always including potatoes, cheese, sour cream, bacon, and chives. Like every format that those can be put into.
Awesome. Well, bring it all to the Cookout. We love it. And we're glad you guys are here. We were prepared to talk to the stunt doubles just in case they were going to show up and you guys weren't here. But we just want to know.
Answer a text anymore. It's gone downhill.
Yeah. What was the auditioning process like to find guys to play your stunt doubles? Like, were you looking for certain characteristics or what were you looking for?
Yeah, well, they had to look like us first and foremost, as you could tell. It was actually really fun, like experience. Like, obviously the internet kind of created this joke for us. We've always loved it and thought it's pretty fucking true at the end of the day. And, as we were thinking about like, what is the first thing people are going to see about us? Is it a song? Is it a sound? Is it just a photo? And we thought it'd be really fun if the first thing people see is just not us. And after 2 years, maybe we catch some people off guard, and I'm sure we did. But it was kind of like a long drawn out process because initially we kind of started with the Everest of us, which is like obviously Ben Affleck and Tom, Matt Damon, and once they passed, we began to move down the line of super famous people that are duos, and eventually we landed on 2 random white guys.
That's great. And now that you guys are back, I mean, it's super exciting after you take all this time off. Did it feel good to take a break from social media? Did it feel good just to be free?
It feels good to have like a project coming out that we've spent more time preparing, not just the music, but the videos and the story. And we've never done that in the past. It's always been we've been rushing. We've been basically putting out single by single. And they'd aggregate into one album. This is the first time we're putting out an album in the traditional sense. And we're really excited. I mean, like, we put more thought into all the art direction for everything that surrounds the album, the performance, our tour. And I'm excited that we're here. I think it was cool to not be on social media. That was really great, especially like the timing of it all. I mean, look, we got off social media in the beginning of 2020 before the pandemic. And I can't even imagine what I would have posted during that time. Like, I'm not posting anything about my music. I'm not posting shows. Like, I'm posting me in my house. So that, kind of lined up. But, I'm glad we're on the other side of it now and we're back and we're about to be active again and show people what we made.
Yeah. And we're all excited.
How's that different?
Oh, go ahead, Nita.
I was just going to say, how is it different? Because you're talking about how you're used to putting out all the singles, but now to put together all this artwork and the album, like, what did you guys do that was different for you?
We just like got to think, we had more time to think about it, and not to like rag on any of like our like videos, for example, in the past, but like they just weren't like, and even some of our songs, like I just felt like we had been putting out stuff that it felt, to be honest, like a little rushed, and it didn't have, we were pressured into just like putting things out that were like kind of good enough. And I feel like we finally had time to like, there were songs that we had that were done that we played for friends for like 6 months that I just be like, Alex, like the second verse just doesn't live up to the rest of the song. I'm going to completely redo it. I'm going to change the drums. I'm going to do all this. And in the past, we would have never had time to do things like that. But like, we've ripped every song on this album apart, put it back together, made it the best it can possibly be. And we did the same thing with our creative direction. I mean, we're on our second or third creative director now, he's just the perfect fit, but we had the time to flesh that all out and build a whole, like, a world that this album's going to live in We shot, 2 music videos already. They're the 2 best we've ever had in our lives. And we found a directive team that we actually got to spend quality time with. And, they understand us, and we made 2 very different videos, but they both represent like 2 different sides of our personality, and they're both great. So that's a little bit further breakdown.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and when you guys go away, it gives us a chance as listeners and fans to miss you. Like, man, we ain't had a good Chainsmokers record in how long? But now you back, come back for the first time in 2 years, and you drop this new single, High, which we're loving, by the way. And it feels great to have the Chainsmokers back on the radio. How does it feel to come back with this single? And what does this single mean to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're so pumped. Thank you for the, the kind words. And it feels really good to be back. I feel like it was important to go away for a minute. I think people had enough of us for a second. But, hopefully everyone's excited to hear us again, and including you guys. And, this song felt like the perfect, song to kind of bridge the gap between, the past and the future, I guess. When you go and make an album, we kind of came up with the core of this album, and we went to the label and we're like, it's done. And we're like, and they were like, this is absolutely amazing, but maybe go write like 1 or 2 more songs. And what was funny is we learned the same thing happened to Ed Sheeran, same thing happened to The Weeknd, same thing happened to Harry Styles. And there's something about like building the album and the body of work and like what the message is and the core, meaning of it. And then being able to go out again and then kind of like create as Drew says, the connective tissue for it all. And also like, it's just like, we've been in this, like, feels like, there's a lot of great music, but like sonically it's been like sad. I feel like, we wanted to come back with something that like had this like great energy to it, that was fun. And, Drew kind of pointed out something that was interesting, that it like kind of has like this closer sentiment where like a lot of the lyrics in it have this kind of like really like visceral feeling to them, even though it's like fun and lighthearted and just like a great song. So we just want people to have a great time to it. And, at the end of the day, everyone takes the music and has a different experience with it. So we're just happy to be back and have people hopefully enjoying it.
Yeah, you didn't disappoint. Your signature Chainsmoker sound though is still there, which is awesome. But it's great to see you guys evolve too, just as a fan watching from the beginning. But every time you guys come out with like a new album, it's almost like you're coming back into a different grade in school, like you graduate, right? So you show up with like your new sneakers, or maybe you have like a new tattoo. Is there something that you guys have right now that maybe, is symbolic on the album too, that you didn't have 2 years ago?
Wait, do you mean like sonically?
Yeah. I mean, or even just tangibly, like anything that you have that, maybe you acquired over these last 2 years that has some kind of meaning to you now. Maybe it is a new tattoo. Maybe it is something
new
that
shoes,
you did.
new tattoo.
I mean, for me, I think, I got a new dog, but no, I think it was like, it was really nice to like be home. Like we traveled for like 8 years, basically nonstop. And to kind of come back and like live a life at home, like I have a girlfriend that I'm, obsessed with, and just having the opportunity to like spend that time together. And, it felt like some level of normalcy, being able to like, I went to bed at like 9:30 last night. Like what the, you know what I mean? Like I used to like never in my life did I think that would ever happen. Like I'd be like 9:30 and I was like time to get into bed. And I, but also like 3 nights ago, we were up till 6 a.m. So it's just nice to have, like have a slice of that life again. And like, especially while you're working on this like new album. And, I think it like makes you value the relationships and people that you have around you. And also miss the things that like you did before the pandemic too. And which is like, the ability to travel and see people all over the world and have those amazing experiences. Like there was this really funny moment when we played our first show after the pandemic and Vegas had just opened. And you're like, as a DJ, you're kind of like, all right, well, there's been like a year and a half of music that like has been, all over the radio or the internet. And, no one's really had a experience with it outside of their homes. And so like you get to the club and you're like, I'm about to drop this like What's Poppin' record and people are about to go nuts. And it's like, and obviously everyone loves that song and knows it, but it's like people hadn't like partied to it yet. You know what I mean? And so it was like funny to have this experience where you're like, oh, we're like all like relearning how to like, get back into the groove of society and having fun. And then we just played Mr. Brightside and everything was fine. But but it was a weird experience like having that. And even for us, like, you're just kind of like, you have this amazing body of work that you've been, working on and is almost done. And you kind of have to like pretend like you're just, you know, still playing the old stuff, which was experience.
For sure. I know you guys are busy and we got to let you go. But before we do, we got to ask your advice on something, because you guys make a lot of songs about love and relationships. But there's this term going around, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, called situationships. So we
were going to talk about pee.
I still can't explain that fully. I don't even think the artist can fully explain that. But, yeah, relationship. People want to be in relationships. So, like, what advice would you give to somebody who's in a situationship and wants to get upgraded and promoted into an actual legit relationship?
Ooh. There's so many factors that matter in this situation.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm kind of in a situationship right now.
Okay.
But like the reasons that it hasn't been upgraded is because of like schedules and both being busy and timing and like all of these factors, you know, that are kind of external to like us like wanting to be something more, you know what I mean? Like it's not like based off of, oh, like I feel one type of way and she feels like not so much that way.
Right. It's like jobs and time and stuff.
Yeah. But like, I think but I'm like down to wait for it, like for it all to work out or play out, because I know that like this is somebody that that I have this insane connection with that I've never really felt before. And what I'd say if you are in a situationship and you're hoping to upgrade, but you don't know if the other person wants to, you shouldn't be dating that person. You know, like if it's like something that's like out of your control, that are like external, like life circumstances that are like preventing you and keeping you in a situationship, that's fine. But if like you're just like kind of pining for this person to like upgrade your situation, that.
Yeah, get up out of there. So the P for you is patience.
Yeah.
That's so real.
Yeah.
Did you have any advice? I mean, you're in a legit relationship.
You graduated.
Yeah.
I graduated. I play like it was a long game for me. I mean, I think that what I was gonna say is just like you can't really force things. I think it's like good to get to know somebody. I know that can like sometimes feel like the friend zone and stuff, but you have to like also like you can't be like trying too hard. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of just like, got to be in the flow of the conversation. And like Drew said, like you'll know when someone's just like not trying to speak to you, and you're like, "Can we get dinner tomorrow night? Can we get dinner tomorrow night?" You know what I mean? I think that you know you got to take care of yourself, look like you're having a great time and enjoying life, and you know. In some ways that usually attracts people to see like wow, this you know guy or girl's you know loving life right now, and you know I want to be a part of that. And I think like Instagram and things like that have really made it terrible for people to find.
Yeah.
Man, but there's always just like you're led to believe that there's always something better right around the corner. And you know sometimes that is true, but you know a lot of the times it like probably forces you to like not consider an option that is actually you know, authentic and worth it.
I'm in one too. So where were you guys a week ago when I was having my meltdown? Patience, everybody, patience. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. We're super excited for the song, and we love that we're going to be playing it all the time, everywhere.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you guys for supporting it.
Of course. Hi, TCS4 coming soon.
Hey,
where did this come from?
Oh.